What's up, everybody? Total Beats Guy here, back again with the Slam. This is your source for WWE and wrestling news. We got some awesome stuff coming your way. I do want to thank you guys. If you do have any stories and you want to send them over on Twitter, please do, and use the hashtag the Slam. I got to give a big shout out to Dylan at DT2169 for hitting me up with this story. Appreciate it much for that. So again, like I said, use the hashtag the Slam. Make sure you like this if you enjoy this type of content, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. So the story that Dylan sent over today is actually WWE rumored to be making their big changes to their pay-per-view events. And this is coming in from WrestleVotes on Twitter account. Now, they are a Twitter account that kind of leaks some information. They've broken WWE reports in the past. They've done stuff that has been true. So it's one of those things where you think that they are probably true. So WrestleVotes on Twitter is a good one to follow. So they said the WrestleVotes Twitter account, which has broken WWE reports in the past, noted on social media that starting with Backlash on May 6th, all pay-per-view events going forward will be dual branded. This means there will be no more Raw and SmackDown exclusive shows. The account mentioned that the source told them that the repetitive matchups to fill the card along with so-so ticket sales led to the decision. It should be noted that weekly TV shows will not be affected. As of this writing, this news should be considered a rumor. And then WrestleVotes official one says, starting with Backlash on May 6th, all pay-per-views going forward will be dual branded. No more Raw and SmackDown exclusive shows. Sources state repetitive matchups to fill the card along with so-so ticket sales is a decision. The weekly TV show has not been affected yet. So this is something that we were wondering with the brand split, if they were to continue the pay-per-views being different. There is now going to be the dual branded ones. If this story is true, like we said, it's a rumor. But if this is going to go down, here's what's going to happen. You're going to get less of the undercard, and the mid-card guys, the lower to mid-card guys, are now going to be kind of faded away. They're not going to be such a big focus on WWE anymore, and that's because they have to fit their main stories on these brands. Now, honestly, I think if you have shows like Elimination Chamber or Hell in a Cell or TLC or big ones like that get people to tune in for those big matches, I think that's fine. But when you have one like let's say like a Backlash or something that doesn't have one of those big gimmick matches, I don't know if it's going to draw in the crowd that they are hoping that they're going to get. And with the low ticket sales, apparently, so-so ticket sales, I should say. So whatever that really means, so-so ticket sales and repetitive matchups is one thing. And I don't think the repetitive matchup has anything to do with the Raw and SmackDown brand being their own shows. I think it's just bad booking, to be honest. I don't blame the dual brands on that. It's just bad booking, to be honest, because I think you can get a lot better stuff out of a single brand show, honestly. And I fear for the talent in this one. If you're not in that upper mid to top tier talent, you're going to be kind of left off. And even with things right now, you have pre-show matches that, you know, you can't really fill all the talent, and you try to throw some on the pre. So it just, to me, it feels like we're going to see some of those guys that are going to be lost in the shuffle. I don't know about the cruiserweights and 205 Live. I know Triple H is taking over 205 Live, but again, I don't really know what that's going to lead for that. And it makes me kind of scared here because I don't feel like this is a good move. I feel like this is kind of pushing the brand split back and kind of taking it a step back instead of getting rid of the dual brand pay-per-views, because you can have one every other month. That's the way that I would do it, not have two a month. I would have a Raw one month, a SmackDown the other, then have together. That's the way I would do it, right? But the way I see it is that WWE is not getting the fans that they want to attend the shows, and the matches aren't the best. And that's on them for booking. And I will say that's booking 101 right there. If you don't get people to come to the show, you got to get a new world champion, because back in the day, brother territory days, it's always been that champion, that one champion right there that made the show what it was. And that's kind of how it was. I don't say that's much anymore, but I will say this. I don't really want them to go back to Raw and SmackDown being together, because when that was the case, it kind of got repetitive. You didn't see a lot of guys. The cream didn't always rise to the top. There's some guys that could have made it, but they didn't. So then they ended up leaving the company and then coming. You know, I don't like that. I still want to see them have their dual brand pay-per-views. I enjoy that. I think what they need to do to fix this issue is to get better booking. Obviously, wrestling isn't at the peak that it was in the Attitude Era. It's never going to be back to the Attitude Era draw, brother, because that was a different time. It was different wrestling. It was different entertainment. I think what you need is you need to build some big guys on both brands. I mean, SmackDown has been kind of a show that I used to love to watch SmackDown, and now it just feels like it's going down and down and down. I think the main writer from SmackDown isn't there anymore, and that kind of makes it upsetting. With Road Dogg writing on SmackDown, maybe it's not the best show that it could possibly be, and same with Raw, just maybe not the best show possible. And if you want to talk about the repetitive stuff, well, you have the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, AJ Styles thing that's gone on a little bit too long, in my opinion. I feel like if they would have done this tag match, triple threat, now it's a fatal four-way, but I think if they would have done a triple threat, AJ, Sami, and Kevin, and then that would have been the very end of it, and then they could move on from that story, I think that's it. I do like long-term storytelling in the WWE. I think that's a must, is to have long-term storytelling, giving people good stories and letting them go out there and do their thing. I mean, we've seen it in professional wrestling all over. From TNA Wrestling, we saw a long-term program with Gail Kim and Awesome Kong. If you ever saw that program, so good. Way to have a really good long-term booking, and they just give them time to wrestle, and that's kind of the thing. They did it in TNA very well. There was Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, and that feud went on for a while. And WWE, they've done it before with Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. They've had a long rivalry over and over and over, and then when they get in the ring together, you know that it's going to be good. So anyway, guys, I don't think that long-term booking and repetitive story is a problem, as long as you can make it entertaining. You can keep things fresh. I mean, you think of James Ellsworth, AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose, that stuff was entertaining. Like, it's just how you do it that makes it work, and I think that WWE is taking a step back putting them together, but I don't know what this means for the talent. Again, like I said, I'm really scared for the talent, because the thing with WWE is they've been hiring so many independent guys. Like, there's a lot of people they've been hiring over and over. I know they have NXT. I know they have 205 Live. But now with the pay-per-views being only dual pay-per-views, makes you feel like, what does that mean for that undercard talent that they signed? Like, we just have Ricochet coming in, Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. Like, what is going to go forward here? I'm really just like unsure about this, and that's what scares me here, because I like the brand split, and it just made me wonder again, how long are they keep the brand split before they go back to one world title and then go to one champion on both shows, and SmackDown just doesn't mean anything because they don't have any big matches on SmackDown, and that's not what I want to see. I really thought that they got into something, and they really had SmackDown as the A show for so long, and then they just kind of flip-flopped, and Raw's okay sometimes. I still think it's too long, but again, I think this dual brand thing might be going away, which I don't want to see. I really like the multi pay-per-views. You have a Raw one, SmackDown, then together. That's the way that I would honestly do that. Raw's on Mondays, SmackDown's on Tuesdays. All right, you got those shows, different rosters, good stuff. You do another superstar shakeup after WrestleMania. That's what I would do. You have new talent be flushed around. You get guys that go to Raw that weren't on SmackDown. Guys from NXT come up. That's awesome. Girls can come up from NXT as well. Maybe some people that were in the Mae Young Classic that aren't getting a shot will come up as well. That's kind of thing I would see. Then what I would do, like I said, Raw would be on one month. You'd have a Raw pay-per-view. The next month you'd have a SmackDown pay-per-view, and then you would have a dual pay-per-view together for both shows. A bigger one like the Big Four, like Rumble, Survivors, WrestleMania, maybe Elimination Chamber if you want to do two of those. I don't know, but that's kind of how I see it. Maybe SummerSlam as well, dual. That's how I would do it. But I hope, again, this isn't like the downfall of the WWE right now, and they're gonna plummet into obsolescence, and they're gonna be deleting with the brand split, because I don't like to see that, because I feel like there would be those mid-card guys that would get lost in the shuffle, and I really don't like that. I hope that WWE can keep this up, and they can keep the brand split going. Again, this is like from the top of the WWE creative going down, saying that this is what needs to change. It's probably like a Vince McMahon thing. And to me, it just feels like, okay, we're going to do this brand split because they did it before in the past, and then they kind of just got bored with it, or they didn't have the mass talent that they needed to fill both shows, and one was suffering, the other wasn't. I mean, you get the right people in there writing, and you get the right people in there in the right spots, shift some gears around, move some people in, move some people out, do some things like that, and then you'll have the best shows that you possibly can have. So as far as right now, this is still rumored to be happening. We don't know if that's going to 100% true happen. but we'll have to find out. So you guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this type of video, again, hit that like button. Again, send me some stories on Twitter, #TheSlam. I'll check it out. I'll look for those stories. I'll shout you out just like Dylan did today. DT2169, thank you very much for that. And that's where we're going to end today's episode. As always, I'm Tony Beats Guy, and we'll see you in another video.